Money is power, man. Money is power. And when you're those type of people with that type of power, sometimes you can make certain things go away.
The Empire Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Empire. And yes, my name is Antonio the Miles. I am your host. And we blah, 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 blah. And we have another great guest, entrepreneur, man for the community, and so much more who we're going to get to know about today. And his name is Tyrone Holliness. Welcome to The Empire, Tyrone.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this.
Glad to have you, man. How's your year been so far? How's your day been so far?
My day has been pretty good. It's just getting started. So it's still early in the morning, but the day has been great. Day is always great when you can wake up and start new.
Ain't that right?
Yeah. Another chance.
Man, that's how I feel. I always feel like it's another day to work towards the dream.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I remember I heard someone say the other day, is like, hey, we woke up today and a lot of people didn't wake up today.
It's a lot of people that did not wake up today. Right now, you have to remember every morning there's somebody crying right now because if somebody lost a family member or someone that they love.
Mm.
But for me today, I didn't, and I'm fortunate, so I get to smile today.
I love that. And it's interesting. I remember hearing the origin of the word morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we say good morning?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was reading it somewhere and I also heard like it comes from like, I guess slavery.
Somebody told me that about a month ago, and they were explaining it to me. I don't know the details, but somebody else was telling me that also.
Yeah, it's something along the lines of like, I guess like like in the nights, the slave would be mourning for like maybe someone got killed
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, and then they'd have to wake up in the morning, wake up at the following day, and be happy and see the master and be like, "Ah, good morning, sir," or whatever.
So it was like a front. Like a front.
Basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who wants to be mourning in the first of the day?
So they're literally mourning, MOURN.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys know, but the English language is a very interesting language when you start looking at the root of the words and the meaning of words.
It is.
It's super crazy. But anyway, Tyrone, I like your perspective, which is being happy for the day, right? Being happy for another day. I like that perspective. I think it's important. I think perspective is everything.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Perspective is a lot. Your day can go by how you want to view it. You can wake up a little bit starting a bad day, and it would just be a roller coaster ride on a bad day. But if you wake up and smile, you'd be surprised how good your day can be when you're just in a good mood. That's why you start the day off right. Play some music that you like. Burn a candle. Whatever gets you going, that's what you should do. I know when I was younger, I don't listen to a lot of hip hop music, but when I was younger and I was on my way to work, whoever I worked for, I'm putting on that music that I like to get the day going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do.
Got you. What's some music gets you going?
Lately, it's been Kendrick.
Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Mr. Lamar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lately, it's been Kendrick.
Okay.
If I want to hear hip hop.
Okay.
If I want to kind of relax, I go with Stevie Wonder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I started off my day singing, dang it. No, I'm singing every other song in my head besides, it's not a famous Stevie Wonder song either, too. Anyway, but yeah, I was singing Stevie Wonder this morning, so that's super cool. Yeah, I was in my head. It was stuck for some reason it was stuck in my head this morning. And it's not one of his popular ones.
Oh.
But it'll come.
Oh yeah, I like Stevie.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Mr. Wonder.
Not at all.
You can't go wrong with him.
Especially, I met him before, so it's cool.
Okay.
A couple of times.
Check. Bucket list check.
Yeah, but I was a kid then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom used to hang out with him and his whole group, his people.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was fun.
Super cool.
Oh yeah.
Super cool. Well, Tyrone, let's get more into you, right?
Okay.
For people who may not know who you are and the things that you do, can you please let everybody know who you are and the things that you do?
Well, I'm Tyrone Holliness. I live in Riverside County. I do a couple things though. So I have a private uh, transportation business, so luxury transportation. The black on black vehicles, the SUVs. So I provide that service. I also have a utility locating business with and CCTV inspection business. So I'm able to locate utility lines such as gas, power, and water lines. I also do pipes, have cameras that can go in pipes.
Mm-hmm.
I run a nonprofit called Tribe and Grit. And then I also help my wife with her business, which is called Love Lux. So I'm busy every day, but it's a fun busy.
Yeah.
It really is a fun busy.
I think I was having this conversation with I was having this conversation with a friend, which is like um the best type of job or
Hmm.
work is where you're basically in control and it doesn't feel like work. It's just like, hey, like this is what I enjoy doing. Would
Exactly.
you agree?
Yes, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's fun because you have more control, and at the end of the day, you decide who you want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat that. When you work for someone, you have to work. But when you work for yourself, if the vibe is not right, I can just kind of walk away and just keep going.
Keep it pushing.
Exactly. Keep it pushing.
Got you. On
Hmm.
to the next one.
On to the next one.
I believe that I'm a real big component on what's meant for you is meant for you.
Hmm.
And that goes, I think, in business and in customers too. Like if that customer is meant for you, they are. If they're not, they're not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Every person, every situation, everything is not meant for you. And sometimes you think things are meant for you, but you know what? Maybe it's not right for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's perspective, like you were saying, perspective.
Mm-hmm. I can you give an example? Because it's making me think of where someone might think like, hey, you would think this opportunity is for you, but it's not right for you. Can you give an example?
Something that can be for you, but not right.
Yeah. Something that you were saying, I
You
think.
know what? I'll take an easy way out on that one.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Okay.
It could be something could be for you. It could be a job, and it could be a great situation. But what if it's too far? Traffic. There's a lot of things. Just because someone is going to pay you X amount of dollars doesn't mean it's right for you. There's a lot of things you take into consideration when you take a job. But most importantly is, are you going to be happy? Are you
Mm.
going to enjoy it? I was thinking about that when we were coming over here. And when you think about it, when you like what you do, there's not an issue doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You can go and smile. You like it's no big deal. But when there's tension and you don't really care for it, you don't perform at your best.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of go through the motions. So, everything has to align. If it doesn't align, why do it?
Yeah.
Why do it?
It's so interesting because some people say like, hey, it's just a job, like you need to work. Who cares if they respect you or not respect you? You just gotta work.
No, I'm not doing that no more. No.
Yeah.
Too old for that. We
Mm-hmm.
got to like each other. We got to get along
Mm-hmm.
because it's not about the money no more. It's about peace. If I can't work with you in peace, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't care what you paying me. Doesn't matter because I don't have peace.
Yeah.
But that comes with getting older also.
And wisdom.
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of that too.
Yeah, because our peace is important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important. If you don't have peace, you don't have nothing because you
Yeah.
can't sleep well. You can't sleep well without peace, and you
Yeah.
need peace. You need sleep.
Yeah. It basically affects basically without having peace, they're killing your inside,
Yep.
which is gonna kill you on the outside.
No sleep, no rest. Without rest, if the body doesn't have proper rest, you don't even function right.
Period. You can't think right. Your immune system's
And
down.
nothing's right. You're
Yeah.
off.
Off.
off. But when you can go into a situation and you're happy and everything is vibing and everything is right, and you've had the rest, guess what? You show up and you ready.
Yeah. And that energy also is transmitted and received by other people.
Yes, and people notice.
Hmm.
People notice your energy. At least I do. People notice energy. Energy is big.
It's serious.
Yes.
Ooh.
Energy is big. You know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're hearing so far, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tyrone, we like to go deep here. Like they say, deep like Shaq's shoes.
Okay.
Can you give us a brief origin story of where you grew up, how you grew up to the man that you are today?
Oh, you really going deep. So yeah, I'm gonna go deep. So I grew up in Los Angeles. I
Hmm.
grew up in South Central Watts area. Um, didn't grow up. So since I grew up over there, naturally I didn't grow up rich. Um, I would say I don't want to say poor, because I didn't grow up in the projects. But I grew up in a house,
Hmm.
but still we weren't rich. A lot of people don't know. A lot of my friends didn't even know I'm adopted. Um, so faced some challenges with that growing up. But once I got into sports, things kind of fell in place for me. And I kind of always had to just make sure as long as I kept my head on a swivel and stayed focused on the sports, I was okay. So I stayed in LA, grew up in LA, played basketball. I went to junior college after high school, did a couple years there. After junior college, came back to LA for a minute, went to Washington
Mm.
for a while, about a year. Also went to Colorado, Alamosa, Colorado for about a year. And then I would say about 22, 23, came back home to LA. Just normal life, working and stuff. Still the same area.
Hmm.
Um, I always had a job. I always believe in working.
Hmm.
Um, and did some other things.
What part of LA?
South Central.
Okay.
Yep. South Central, Watts, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
The hood. Um, but great experience. Had some great experiences. And some bad ones also. Nothing, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible.
Hmm.
Cherished it. I cherish a lot of those memories because it taught me a lot. And then I would say I met my wife in LA. My wife actually grew up a couple blocks away from me, and we never met each other.
Hmm.
But met her when I was about 24. And then after meeting her, we dated and had some kids. And I would say after about 5 to 7 years, somewhere up in that time, it was just time to go. I just had to leave. And it was because of just a lot. When you grow up in LA, it's a lot going on.
Hmm.
It's a lot going on. As great as of a city as it is, it's also a very dangerous city. Very dangerous. I've been shot at a couple times.
Hmm.
Been in situations where I've had to run. Uh, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is I've never been from a gang, but because of where I grew up, I'm still part of that environment.
Yeah.
And
Proximity.
exactly. And of course, I had a lot of friends who were in gangs.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of them good people would just make bad decisions. And then left LA. I left LA about 18 years ago.
Hmm.
I was just done with it and moved out bought a house in Paris, lost the house in Paris during the 2007
Mm.
crash. I had a bad loan, which I'm not, but it is what it is. So lost the house in Paris. From Paris, went to Corona. Me and my wife went to Corona, um, rented a house, and then rented that house for a couple years. And then after that, it was my wife was like, we got to buy another house. We got to rebound. And so did what we had to do to buy another house and bought a house in Corona. And I've been in Corona for the 16 years.
Hmm.
So it's been a journey, but it's been a great journey, and so life is great. Quit my job a couple years ago. Um,
What type of work was it?
oh, I worked at a company called Utiliquest.
Okay.
They're a utility locating company.
Okay.
That's where I learned how to locate utilities.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was great there. Had a company vehicle, learned a lot, built some great relationships, but it was just,
Time's up.
yeah, it's time to go. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know I can do more for myself and get more for myself if I just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I just walked away. And my wife was a big supporter of it. I have the right mate. When you got the right mate, you can accomplish a lot more in life. You really can.
Yeah.
So,
When you mentioned that, when you mentioned right mate, it made me think of chess,
oh, okay.
the game of chess, right?
hmm
Not chest people, but the game of chess. Because in order for, I guess chess can be looked at as like the game of life, right?
Right.
And in order for everyone to work right, the king has to be alive and be able to move freely.
hmm
But the queen is the most powerful piece on the board, right? But as long as everyone is in support of protecting the king, we're all going to be safe,
hmm Hey, I like that one.
right?
Yep.
And so that's kind of what it made me think of when you say you have the right mate. And I just saw the picture of a chessboard.
Hey,
Yeah.
trust me, the right mate.
Mhm. Yeah.
Shout out to her too.
Yeah. You want to give her name? Shout out by name?
Oh, Darlene Holliness.
There we go.
Darlene Holliness. She runs Love Lux,
Yeah.
and she's a full-time employee at Cerritos College.
For sure. Shout out to you. I think it's really important because I think, and from what I've been seeing and hearing from people nowadays, like relationships are kind of in the toilet right now as far as community and even in American society.
Right.
Like people are not talking, people are not communicating and coming to an agreement, coming to an understanding of roles and expectations. And it's good to hear something refreshing like, hey, she supported me, she believed in me, and we went for it. Obviously, you guys had to communicate about the
You got to
plan.
communicate. You got to
Yeah,
have a plan.
yeah.
You got to have a plan. Got to have a plan. You can't accomplish anything without a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that. Actually, I hate to say this, but I didn't really realize that until about maybe 12, 13 years ago. For real.
Got you.
Having a talk with the pastor of a church that me and my wife were going to.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked me dead in my face. He says, Tyrone, you got goals and you got things you want to do, but what is your plan? What's the plan? He
Yeah.
says, if you don't have a plan, you can't accomplish major things. You dang sure can accomplish most things without a real plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we had that, and I remember having this conversation with him, we were at the Habit Burger on Limonite in, what is that, Eastville or Harupa Valley?
Yeah.
And when we had this conversation, I went home and I was like, he said, a plan. And I took it so seriously. So now everything that I do, there has to be a plan. What is the plan? Like, how do we do this? And then what is the worst case scenario if it doesn't work out? I did that with my job. Before I left my job, I had to figure out what is the worst thing can happen if none of my businesses work. And so I had a plan for everything.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Preparation.
Preparation.
Yeah. It's so interesting when you mentioned plan because I thought about, because I guess you can also interchange the word plan with blueprint.
hmm
And I was like, you can't build a city without having a plan or a blueprint, AKA, on how to build this city or this freeway. They have to have a pre-plan for it, or even architecture. They have a plan
hmm
for it. So it made me think about that, which is super cool. Yeah. Plans are everything.
Plans are everything.
Yeah. What was the worst case scenario if it didn't work out?
You know what the worst case scenario? When I really thought about it, I could go back to the job. I left on good terms. I had great relationships. And when I kept thinking about it, what is the worst case? I have to go back to work? That's not bad. Going back to work, I'm still working. So when it kept going to, you probably have to go back to work. I was like, well, that's not bad to have a job. So I was like, I'm done. And plus, my wife kept telling me, she was like, just go ahead and do your own thing. She kept telling me, she said, you can do it. And I kept saying, I know I can do it, but there's apprehension. The job is like comfort
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
they get the business for you. They do all the work for you. They do everything.
You just show up.
You just show up and do what they want you to do, but they get all the money. And once I got to the point of getting out of that comfort zone with them, it was easy to just walk away. It really was. And I can honestly say it's one of the best 5 decisions I've made in my life.
Amen. 2 things I gotta address.
What's that?
First thing is, shout out to Mrs. Holliness for putting those words into your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember someone was saying that a woman can either uplift a man or tear down a man. That's the 2 purposes of a woman in a man's life. She can either uplift you or tear you down. And so it's beautiful to hear her uplift you.
Yes, it is. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful to hear that. The second thing that comes to mind is what's the 5 biggest things decisions that you made in your life?
5 best decisions I made in my life.
Because you said something like that, right? Like, okay.
I already know.
Please share.
One I might forget. It's funny. 5 best decisions I made: leaving my job, marrying who I married, marrying my wife, moving out of Los Angeles.
Mm.
So, because I thought about this, that's why I should know them. Getting married, moving out of LA, leaving my job. What was the other 2? Other 2.
It's gonna come back.
It's gonna come
It's gonna
back.
come back.
I know them.
We'll come back.
Okay.
It'll come back to it.
Right.
It'll be like the middle of our conversation. Be like, hey, jump roping with my cousin Skip. Jump roping with Skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ideas will definitely come back.
Oh, they will. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, they're gonna come. They're gonna come. We're gonna get them.
Because I was just telling somebody this. I'm surprised I didn't forgot, but I'm gonna remember.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come. Either here or like on the drive home. Like that's what it was. But I wanted to get into your business, Crown Vision Incorporated or Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can we talk about why, what it is, how it started? Can you talk about all about those things?
Oh yeah. So, like I said, I learned how to locate utilities at UtiliQuest, and I had been at UtiliQuest for 15 and a half years. And so while I was at UtiliQuest, I had learned I was a damage investigator, I was a field check auditor, I was a regular auditor, I ran the vault crew. So I learned all these things. I also represented the company in damage claims. So I've been to court for the company. So when somebody hits like a electrical line or a gas line, because I was a damage investigator, I had to know who was at fault, who's paying for this claim. Is it the homeowner who hit just say the power line?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the contractor who's going to pay for it, or is it just we just gonna eat it? Nobody's gonna pay, and it just gets repaired. So I learned all these things at UtiliQuest, and as I'm learning these things, I get a lot of questions. From people who are new with the company. They had me train people who were new to the company. And so that's when me and my wife start talking about businesses and things of that nature. And I know one thing with business is you should do something that you're good at or something that you know. And so I just know underground utilities. I know how they run. I just know it, and it's not to brag about it, not bragging about it, but I'm the type of person. Every job I've had, I don't take a job and not be serious. Every job I've had, I've taken seriously, and every job I've had, I can honestly say, except the first 2 jobs I've ever had, every job I've had, I've moved up, and that's because when I come work for you, guess what? I want to do well. I want to make more money. I want to move up the ladder. I want more money because if you want to do what you want to do in this world, you got to have money.
Period.
You got to have money. If you want to travel,
Period.
you got to have money. You want to go places, you got to have money.
Yeah, you want to eat, you want to sleep.
Yeah, if you want to go out to nice restaurants, you got to have money. So I always took work seriously, always. And so when I got ready to start Ground Vision, I just started it the right way. Before I even had the business, start the website. Go get you a business license. Go get you go buy equipment. What are the things that you need to have a business? I mean, and my wife helped me cover a lot of these things. She's the admin. She's the admin. I'll
Mm,
just say it like that. She's the admin for all my businesses. So any emails, it may look like it's coming from me. She takes care of it.
mhm.
The only thing that I do is make sure the field part gets done, the work out in the field, and I'll have somebody else do that. But it just works.
Ooh. Can you tell us a little bit about like what the work is?
So,
Just like kind of explain what like underground utility stuff is. Can you kind of
yeah, yeah.
explain it?
So basically, like this building,
Mm-hmm.
let's just make it easy. This building has lights.
Mm-hmm.
This building is fed with power. So to make it easier for just say a homeowner, every house has a meter. If you go to the house, the little round glass thing has a meter.
Mm-hmm.
So let me make these easy. So you have your meter. That's the electrical meter. Homes are either fed overhead or underground. Sometimes you'll see an old house, and at the meter, you'll see the meter. If you go up the top of the meter, you'll see the electrical wire going to a pole. That means the home is being fed overhead.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you won't see a wire above that electrical box. So when you don't see the wire above coming out the top of the home going to a pole,
Mm-hmm.
that means the home is being fed underground. That's where I come in. So now that underground means because it's not going overhead, naturally that power line is coming in underground to that to that box to give that home power.
Mm-hmm.
And so since it's coming in underground, let's just say you want to plant a tree in the backyard, a little tree.
Okay. Okay.
Before you plant that tree, a lot of people don't understand you're supposed to call 811. 811 is a nationally recognized phone number that you call before you dig. And a lot of people don't know it is the law to call 811. So if you start digging, you're actually breaking the law if you didn't call 811 first. And a lot of people don't understand this.
Is that nationwide?
Nationwide.
Mm.
And the reason why you call 811 is to find out where the underground utilities are, such as gas, power, and stuff. So when you call 811, guess what? They're going to come out and let you know where the power, the gas, the phone, cable TV, so you don't hit that power line I was telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you hit that power line, you can electrocute yourself, you can cause death, possibly die.
Mm-hmm.
You can, but more than likely you're going to cause an outage because what if you slice it right in half with a shovel?
Mm-hmm.
Now your home has no power. And if you didn't call 811, Edison will still come out and repair your electrical line. They're going to repair it still. But guess who's going to pay for it? You are.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have called 811, you would have known that electrical line is there. And naturally, you probably wouldn't have dug right there. So this is where ground vision comes in. If you don't want to call 811, if you're confused about 811, if you're confused about underground utilities, call ground vision. And guess what? We'll take care of your 811 services. We'll make sure your underground utilities get marked. And if you have private utilities, because private utilities, they won't come out and mark private utilities.
For example.
So a private utility is, say you have a jacuzzi in the corner over there.
Okay.
That jacuzzi has to have a power line, power going to it.
Mm-hmm.
So just say you need to know, how is that jacuzzi getting power? Because we want to plant some more trees. You call ground vision, and I'll tell you exactly where the power line is running underground to feed your jacuzzi.
Mm. And the way you do it is you reach out to 811 and then you find out the information?
No, people call me. Not
Mm.
everybody, but more people are being educated now with 811 and stuff. So a lot of people, they call 811 on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I just did a utility locate for a guy in Riverside last week.
Gotcha.
Yeah, last week. He is doing an addition to his house.
Okay. Expansion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's doing it on the side of his house. but on that side is also a gas line, and he doesn't know how the gas is coming into the house. So I had to hook up and let him know how his gas line comes into his house so he doesn't damage his gas line.
How do you find out the information?
Gas is easy. Gas,
Okay.
you just hook up to it. I have equipment that will hook up to it, and it transmits a signal through the line because it's like metal.
Okay.
So once I hook up, let me see, like, well, I can't say this, but like I have something that I can clip on here,
Yeah.
and then you have a piece of equipment, then you ground it to the ground, and it sends a signal through
The whole pipe.
this whole pipe,
Cool. And then you
'Cause-
just follow the signal.
and I just follow the signal.
Got you. And the same thing for electricity?
Same thing for electricity.
How cool.
Yep.
How cool. Now you know, folks.
Yeah.
Now you know.
I tried to explain it as best as I could, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we learned something today, folks. I feel like we did.
Yeah.
Especially
So,
like the 811 thing, yeah, or like how it's illegal to
yeah.
start
Yeah.
shopping.
If you dig and you don't call 811, they're gonna tell you you're breaking the law. And if you hit a power line, they're gonna make you pay for it.
So even like I wanted to like bury my goldfish in the backyard.
Technically, you're supposed to call 811. It's called disturbing the surface. Anytime you disturb the surface of the ground, they want you to call 811.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Gotcha. I guess sewage pipes would also be considered in that whole.
Oh yeah, sewer,
Yeah.
water. I had to do with sewer too.
Wow.
Sewer, water, gas, electrical, cable TV, all that stuff.
Wow. Thanks for the information. I love it. Um, from your experience of doing this for, can I say almost 20 years?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How unaware are people of this underground utility stuff? How unaware have you noticed about people of this?
I would say about half the population doesn't know it. I go to a lot of homes back in the day where 811 was called in, and a lot of people don't know about it. A lot. I catch a lot of people off guard when we would go to projects where they're replacing like the gas main on the street or the water main, and people come out and say, "What are you guys doing?" You know, you explain to them, "What are you doing?" and 811 and all that, and people say, "What is 811?" And you explain it to them. And to be honest with you, I didn't know about 811 until I started working there.
Mm,
Yeah, I knew nothing of 811. Had no clue about it. I learned all of this when I got to Utiliquest.
which makes sense. And does Ground Vision do commercial and residential?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, commercial, residential, and streets everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
Wherever you need me, I'm there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wherever you need me, I'll be there.
Got you. Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Yes.
We have some fun now.
Yes. That's what we do here on the
Yeah.
Empire. We have fun, man. Super cool work. And super cool. And
Thank you.
what I love is I always love hearing people talk about kind of like finding their purpose and their passion and living their life in that and being free. And it's so good to hear you talk about that, about how, I just know all this information about underground utilities and I'm using it to help provide a service.
Right.
And I just love hearing it, and it's provided you freedom and comfort for you and your family. And I love it.
Thank you.
I just love it. It's just, it's warming to my spirit to hear things like this. But I also want to get into I believe it's your nonprofit called Tribe and Grit.
Yes.
Can we talk about it? Talk about what it is, why you started it, who it's for?
So me and my wife started Tribe and Grit maybe about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And it's a nonprofit, and it's a nonprofit built on just helping people, people who are in certain situations. And it's not. Well, let me back up a little bit. So one of the first things that Tribe and Grit provides is a nurturing fathers program. So that is like one of the things we always provide, the nurturing fathers program, and that can be for people who are, sometimes you get people who are coming out of jail or prison and they got to take a parenting class or something of that nature. Or you might have a young individual who just needs a parenting class. So Tribe and Grit provides that nurturing fathers program, but then we also provide things where we build resilience and we sponsor people and we try to help them out with reaching their goals. And so an example would be like there's a business partner I work with named Ulysses Valor. He has the UV Light Foundation. I met him last year at what was it? It was like a networking event or something like that. And he was just telling me what he wants to do. And he loves music and stuff like that. So after meeting him and talked to him, made some connections, and we did a radio show together for about 6 months.
With KCAA.
Yep. We did that radio show. And the purpose of the radio show was to get Tribe and Grit some exposure, but to also have his music being played on the radio. And that's why I did that. I said, you know what? I can get his music on the radio, and it gives me the opportunity to give Tribe and Grit some exposure. So just figuring out how to help people when they're in certain situations, because I really believe when you help people, you're actually helping yourself. That may sound strange, but when you help people, you're helping yourself. And sometimes you don't know how you're helping yourself. Like, I'll go help somebody, and I don't know why I'm doing this, but guess what? Something always happens to where you get something back. And it may not be immediately. It may be 6 months from now. It may be a year from now. But when you give, it comes back. I truly believe that.
Law of reciprocity.
Yes.
Yeah. Law of attraction, law of...
And people remember that. People remember that. It's just like if I do something for you. No, I'll just say it this way. If you do something for me, I'm going to remember that. And I'm going to say, hey, this guy did something for me. You should go talk to him. That's a connection for you.
Yeah.
That's how we build relationships.
Yeah. Antonio gave me a napkin.
Yeah.
So I guess two things, which is, why did you and your wife decide to start it? Tribe and Grit.
No, we like helping people. We like doing things.
Okay.
We just like helping people. My wife works with a lot of people with disabilities for her job. She actually she works with a lot of people who are either deaf or hard of hearing. She knows sign language.
Dope.
Yeah. So she knows sign language.
Did you pick up on some of that sign language?
No. Not going to say a lie.
I'm not going to lie.
You know what? I used to take some sign language from my aunt back in the day when I was a kid. When I was about 10, I knew the ABCs and some words, but if you don't practice it, you lose it.
Yep.
You lose it. But I think about getting back into it. I really do. I tell my wife sometimes, I need to learn sign language because I knew it'd be a benefit to me. And I got somebody right there who can help me.
Right there.
I shouldn't be putting myself on the spot like this.
Boom. It's being recorded, folks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no, I don't know it. But I do have an intention on learning it. I just haven't sat down and applied myself to do it.
Yeah. Well, you can do something easy like, hey, babe, honey, whatever you're going to call her.
Yeah.
Hey, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of the day, just talk to me in sign language. We can be sitting next to each other. A commercial comes on a TV show we're watching. Just talk to me in sign language. What is it? Baptism by fire.
Oh, okay.
Type of situation, right? Just throw you in, right? It's kind of like if you want to learn Spanish and like, hey, drop you off in Puerto Rico. Bam, there you go.
They say that's the easiest way to learn languages, though.
Yeah, just drop you right off.
Just dive right into it. They say you pick it up really, really fast.
So I think the same thing maybe at home, right? You got the source right there. You got the motherland right there, so to speak.
Soon.
Have a plan. Have a plan.
Yes, you got to have a plan.
Have a
I don't have
plan?
a plan for the sign language. Well, you don't have to have a plan if you got the source right there.
Got you. I kind of gave you a little plan.
You know what, Antonio? I think I'll get back at you.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
That's his way of saying, I want to do it, but I don't want to do it. Not
because
now.
you know what? When you do something, you really have to apply yourself. You have to want to do it.
Yeah, you have to be committed.
Yeah, and I know I wouldn't be committed.
Mm.
I know I wouldn't. It's just like when I went to college and got my degree a few years ago. I didn't go back until maybe about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, you didn't go back for 10 years? And I'm 50. I'll be 51 next month. But I didn't go for years. But when I went back, I was so committed. It was easy. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Except the math. Except the math.
Okay. The math was the hardest part?
Oh, the math was killing me.
Oh, man.
It was killing me. I had my daughter help me.
Okay.
At the time, she was a 9th grader.
Mm-hmm.
But she's one of those kids, when you talk about algebra, geometry, and calculus, she's really good at it. So I would take her to Starbucks and buy her some Starbucks, whatever she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in my math classes, she would help me get through my math.
Dope. Shout out to the baby daughter.
Shout out to Tyrone Holliness.
Shout out to her, right? Got you through.
Yes, he really did.
Made it, and they say that all aspects of mathematics comes from African history.
Girl?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It might be true, because she told me that she's doing it's higher than calculus. She wants to get her, she just told me she wants to get her master's in something to do with math.
Okay.
I forget what it was. But kudos to her. She gets her BA, her bachelor's degree this December, and she says she's going to stay in school and get some degree in math, some master's in math. I forget what it was.
Okay. Something to do with mathematics.
She told me like about a month ago.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay.
Cool.
Do you?
What's the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, yeah, all basically kind of like all kind of like culture, mathematics, sciences actually stem out of Africa, even though we're not taught that. And I've been coming across different people actually saying the same thing, and it's so interesting. So, for example, like you've probably heard of the Pythagorean rhythm or Pythagorean,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Pythagoras,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which are triangles.
Okay.
And the history is that Pythagoras studied in Egypt for like 20 plus years, right?
Is that right?
Right.
Oh.
And so if anyone would know anything about triangles or master triangles, I guess the Egyptians would know a lot about how to master triangles, right?
I guess.
Pyramids.
I mean, well, they're known for the pyramids.
Yeah.
I guess that has to kind of make sense, because a pyramid, you build a pyramid, you have to have the base. Those three, how they line up, that has to be perfect.
Yeah.
That has to be perfect.
Yeah. And you have to have the plan or the blueprint before you
Right. Always got to have a
execute.
plan.
Yeah. Before you execute, right? You don't want to be like,
Yep.
this is go haphazard on this.
Right.
But yeah, I want to go back to Tribe and Grit. I think it sounded like you had a plan on how you wanted to execute when you were sponsoring
Mhm.
Ulysses and stuff. Like you had a whole plan about how to do it.
Right.
Which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And just so you know, me and Ulysses will be back. We'll be back. We have
We're gonna get into that.
Yes, I have.
We're gonna get into that.
I have I'm meeting with him today. I have an idea, but we'll be back
Yeah.
like really soon.
Gotcha. Yeah. We're gonna get into that, folks, later. We're gonna get into that later. We might have to get into it sooner than later, actually. But yeah, we're definitely gonna get into it. And so, I guess we talked about the why. Yes. The other thing was I guess you said the main focus of it, or one of the main focuses was about the parenting program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the fatherhood, I believe you said, father parenting.
The Nurturing Fathers program.
Nurturing Fathers program. Did this concept come from like the aspect of you becoming adopted and the importance of having like a fatherhood or a good adult figure in a young person's life?
That's a good question. It played a major role in it. It played a major role in it as far as the Nurturing Father. Yes. To answer your question, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It played a major role because when I looked at how I came up, and don't get me wrong, me and my dad get along.
Mm-hmm.
We're good, but my dad didn't raise me. And so with the Tribe and Grit and the Nurturing Fathers program, I saw a need.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a need. There's a lot of men, especially African American men, but there's a lot of men who, for whatever reason, we're not raising our kids. And I don't want to be here to bash men, but I've just got to call it how I see it. We got to do better as men. We got to want to do better. Even if she is not letting you see your kids, there's still ways around it. But when you want to take the route of being angry and say, getting on the phone, going off and doing this, no, take the right route. It may take you a lot longer. It may take you 9 months, 10 months to see your kid, but we got to change all of this. It's just too much. And I think when you look at, and if I get off topic, I'm
No, we're good.
sorry.
We're here. We're here.
But when you just look at all the men in general, you know, we're looked at a certain way. If we don't provide something, we're useless. That's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the truth. If a man doesn't provide something, he's useless. And I hate to say it, but it's somewhat true. It's somewhat true because as a man, you have to lead. You have to lead. When you learn to lead, your life will become a lot easier. And back to Tribe and Grit, because that's where we started.
We're here. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the Tribe and Grit and the Nurturing Fathers program comes in, as far as men who want to be a part of the kids' lives, men who want to do something, and it doesn't have to be older. Sometimes you got young boys who having kids. Nowadays you got people 15, 16, 17 having kids.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had 3 kids before he was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say 3 before 19, to be exact. And when you do something like that, you take a million steps backward. And so when I say Tribe and Grit is here to help men feel respected, be respected, and take care of your kids and be there and do these things. And if you don't have the resources, that's what we're about, giving you the resources. And resources can be diapers. Resources can be water. A lot of people think resources is always money, monetary. It's not always money. I get everybody needs money. We all do. But there's a lot of resources out there. I met a guy 2 weeks ago at a McDonald's, and I always see him at this McDonald's. So like 3 days ago, I finally just had a conversation with him, and he was telling me how he has nowhere to go and all of these things and all of that. And I told him, I said, and I didn't even tell my wife about this one. So I told him, I'll be right back. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So I drove off, and on our radio station, we talk about the N11 codes, 211, 311, 411, 511, 611.
Mm-hmm.
So I called one of them. I ended up calling 311. They gave me a phone number to this home. And then the home, make a long story short, I went and found the guy, took him to the police station, gave him 2 phone numbers. The reason why I had to take him to the police station, because he had to go over there to get some type of clearance, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
And that he had to get a referral from the police station, and he got a home now. And he didn't know none of this. And so it's just about helping people. Helping people. When you know something, you can just tell somebody, they be like, oh, I didn't know that. And he didn't know that if he'd have just called these couple numbers, do what he had to do, he'll be right over here. And he's good now. So just help people.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it wasn't 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was about a month ago. But I would see him all the time at McDonald's. And I just said, let me ask him, why? I just asked him, why are you here all the time?
Mm-hmm.
And I know why he's here, but I want to hear what he's going to say.
From the horse's mouth.
Right. And his first words was, I don't have nowhere to go. And that's how that conversation kind of started. I said, I'm going to help you out. And he said, how you going to help me? I said, I don't know, but I'll be back.
Gotcha. And just like the Terminator, he came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
Super dope. And it reminds me, because I have a chapter in my book called Helping Hands, which is like, you reach out and be a helping hand to people. And sometimes people are a helping hand to you.
Mm-hmm.
My train of thought still there?
Yes, there.
Is it there?
Yes, there. Trust me.
Uh, come on.
You there.
Come on. Tribe and Grit.
Helping hands.
Family. Oh yeah, it's gone. Anyway,
It'll come back to you
it'll come
just
back.
like I got to remember the other two most important things that I've done.
Yes.
Yes.
So I guess. Well, I can't. I'll stick to my notes here. Can you speak on the approach and the importance of empowering minds and building social capital?
Oh, the importance of empowering minds.
Yes, and
I,
the approach.
so you want to know what's my approach to empowering a mind?
Yes, because I believe there's 3 pillars to Tribe and Grit, I believe. And I believe one of them is empowering
Oh,
the minds and
so
building. You with me?
okay. Oh,
Yes.
I see where you went. You went and checked out I like that. You did some
See,
homework.
people come to the Empire and they're like, okay, it's just another blah, blah. They don't know they don't know how serious we do what we do here.
I see.
Yes.
So one of the ways to empower people is to give them a voice. That one is like simple. Just get. A lot of people want to be heard. A lot of people don't want to speak up for themselves. It's sort of like what I tell my 10-year-old son. You got to speak up, and then when you speak, speak. So one of the things that Tribe and Grit wants to do is empower people. So just like you say, an example would be empowering somebody. When you empower somebody, you give them the resources and you say, you can do this. And you say, this is how this is going to be. So we give people the resources. We empower you. We make you, not make you believe, we get you to believe that you can do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. You can do, I don't like to say you can do anything you want to do in this world. I've never been that type of person. I think that's some baloney. You can't do anything you want to do in this world. I would never tell my kids that. But most things in this world, if you truly want to do them, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. Not anything. It's like telling the kid, like my son says, I want to go to the NBA. I don't care how hard you work. Everybody can't go to the NBA. That's something totally different. But when you want to do something that requires your mind and your brain, guess what? You can probably do it. NBA, you have to be physically gifted also. I don't care how much you put into it up here. If you're not physically gifted as an athlete, you can't be a professional athlete. But guess what? If you want to be a lawyer, you can be a lawyer.
Yeah.
If you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. No, what is going to stop a person from doing that? There are a lot of jobs that if you really want to do it, you can do it. And so it's about getting people on the right track. And when you say empower them, so like they just say let's go back to the Nurturing Fathers program. Somebody says to me, Tyrone, I want to be a great father. Guess what? Antonio, I'm going to give you this. You're going to take this class and I'm going to empower you. I'm going to empower you. You're going to take this class. And are you sincerely committed to this? Because when you're sincerely committed to it, you're empowering yourself. I don't have to empower you. I want you to just know that. I'm just helping now. I'm just saying, hey, do this, do that. But all the power is coming from you because you're sincerely committed. That's all that is.
Yeah.
When people are not sincerely committed, I can't help them.
Because they're not helping themselves.
Tribe and Grit cannot help you if you're not sincerely committed. But when you sincerely committed, whatever people want to do, I'm like, let's go do it. Let's go do it. So that, it's more than just Tribe and Grit helping you. We're going to help you, but you got to do your part. You got to do your part. Like they say, what's that one? You could take the horse to the water, but
can't make it drink it.
You can't make no horse drink it. He might look, say, I don't want that. But if you take him over there, he drink, okay, you did your part.
Makes me remind me of another line in the scripture, which is like, faith without works is dead, or faith without actions is dead. And so can you also elaborate on the importance and your approach to building social capital?
Social capital. I think to build social capital, you have to build a social network.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know a lot of people. I think I think when you know a lot of people in
Various,
various
yeah.
avenues of life,
Mm-hmm.
it makes life a whole lot easier. Um, Social capital is big. If you know and examples would be if you know a plumber, you know an electrician, you know somebody who knows how to paint,
Mm-hmm.
you know somebody who knows how to do a professional podcast, if you know somebody who knows sign language, when you know somebody who knows all these different things,
Mm-hmm.
well, think about what that does for you.
Yeah.
You don't
Yes.
have to open up. You don't have to get on Google and look and
Yeah.
talk to strangers. That's why one of the things me and my wife are big on is networking events. You never know who you're going to meet.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what relationship you're going to build. You never know what social capital you're going to create when you're there.
Mm.
And so we don't miss network events. We try to get, if we both can't get there, one of us go.
Mm.
Because you just don't know what'll happen. An example is like entertainers. You hear a lot of entertainers who say they were performing somewhere and such saw them. And such opened that door. But if that entertainer is not there wherever they're at, being
Mm.
seen, they don't get that opportunity.
Yep.
So if I'm not out, if Tribe and Grit, Ground Vision, Lux Transportation, Love Lux, if we're not out networking, getting out to know people, on a positive vibe, if we're not giving things to people, doing all these things, how we gonna have all the social capital?
True. Yeah.
We got to get the name out.
Facts.
Got to get your name out.
Yeah. No one's gonna know if no one knows.
At all. So that social capital is big. People got to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
People, if everybody knows who you are, guess what?
Hello.
I had a guy tell me when I first started Ground Vision, my first job outside of leaving Utiliquest, I had to drive all the way to 29 Palms. And I'm excited because, I got a call. I'm excited. And I get out there and super cool dude. I still talk to him. But he told me something, and I really believe it's true. He said, your business will take off when you've met 10,000 people.
Also the 10,000 work hours.
He told me, and I was like, what? And he said, when you've met 10,000 people, your business will take off.
Mm.
And so I am at about 6,000.
Okay.
And I can see what he's talking about, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I can see what he's talking about.
The growth is happening.
Yes, but I'm at about 6,000. And I know this because I kind of keep track of the numbers. But I'm at about 6,000 people. But when he told me that, and when he first told me that, I was like, oh, okay. And I remember when I first told my wife, but me and her talk about it. We talk about it like regularly, the 10,000 people. And I told my wife just last week, I said, I should be at about 10,000 people in about a year and a half. So you know what? Year and a half, I'll be back.
Hey, the Terminator will be back. I'll be back. Now I remember what one of the questions were going to be.
What's that?
Why the name Tribe and Grit? I have an idea, but why the name?
So Tribe and Grit was actually picked by my wife. We
Mhm.
had a couple names. I don't remember the other one. But we went with Tribe and Grit because when you think of tribe, you think of a group of people who have a common goal,
Mhm.
who are trying to accomplish something. So that's a tribe. And then when you think of the word grit is like getting it in, getting the work in. You got to be gritty. So like our slogan is, let's get gritty. When I say let's get gritty, that's like, let's get busy. Let's get active. Let's get some work in. Let's get it done. Let's get gritty.
Mhm.
So that's why we went with Tribe and Grit. a group of people, the tribe, trying to accomplish something, and that's the grit.
Nice. Sweet. Cool. Now we know, folks. Now y'all know. Now we all know.
Yes.
Um, I would like to see if you'd like to take us on a journey real quick, right? So what I need you to do is close your eyes,
Okay.
and then we're going to go on a quick journey. All right?
Okay. Right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Ready? All right. So I want you to go back to maybe 10 years old or younger, right? You're inside. You're indoors. And there's an aroma in the air, a beautiful smell. And you realize it's your favorite dish. What dish is it, and where are you?
I'm at home with my mom. She fried chicken.
How old are you?
9.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Uh,
Nice and easy, right?
oh yeah.
Just wanted to do that. You know, we talked about Ulysses and how you met him last year, right? You said?
Yes.
Shout out to you, Ulysses.
Yeah.
Great gentleman.
Shout out to Ulysses.
Yeah. What was it about him that said, you know what, I want to sponsor this gentleman?
Oh, that's an easy one. Energy. Ulysses brings a positive energy. He's just ready. And what made me want to work with Ulysses is I'm the type of person that I shouldn't say this on camera.
Let's go.
But I'm gonna just say it.
Let's go.
So I'm the type of person that if I when I work with somebody, if I say I'm committed to something, I'm committed. But I need you to really show you committed. Because if I tell you I'm committed, I'm committed. You may not see all the excitement in my face and I'm smiling and all that. But if I say, Antonio, I'm committed to let's just say we're gonna paint this room. I'm gonna help you paint this room. I may not look excited, but I'm committed. And so when I met Ulysses, his energy was his vibe, his energy was just so good. It was positive, smiling. I like people who smile. I don't want people around me who frowning. I may not smile a lot myself, but definitely I'm not frowning.
Okay.
But the smiling, the energy, the positive attitude. I mean, how can you not want to work with somebody like that? You know, and somebody who is hungry. You know, like I said, you got to be sincerely committed.
Yep.
And he was sincerely committed to just doing whatever we're trying to do. And I could see the passion. You can hear the passion in the guy's voice. You can hear the passion. If you have a conversation with him, he has passion. And so those are the type of people I want to work with. I want to work with people who have passion, people who want to, when they say they want to do something, they want to do that and a little bit more. And so when I got with him, me and my wife met him, and then I met with him a couple of days later, I was like, yeah, we're going to do something. I don't know what. And I told him, I don't know what we're going to do. But definitely, we're going to do something.
Yes.
And so maybe a month or two later, that's when we started the radio show. And so even though it's ended, we got some other stuff coming up.
Perfect. Shout out to you, Ulysses.
Yeah, Ulysses
Mr. Valor. Mr.
UV Light Foundation.
UV Light. your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh, yes, you know that one. Huh?
We had him on the Empire, so we got pretty deep with him. You know, and I always love when I'm in alignment here with the orders here. And you spoke a little bit about it. So what's the future of the Tribe and Grit show? What does that look like?
So, you know what I'll tell you. So Tribe and Grit will be back as far as our show. I'm actually meeting with Ulysses today. And so what I'm thinking is it'll be Tribe and Grit presents UV Lights. How did I say it? Because I had all this. I have a lot of things going on.
No.
So basically it's going to be Tribe and Grit presents Tribe and Light with Ulysses Valor on Monday night. Something like that.
Okay.
It rhymed.
Okay.
I had it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Tribe and Grit presents Tribe and Light on Monday nights with Ulysses. Something like that.
Okay.
So we're going to come back and do a show, and it'll be focused on something like the radio show, but also more of his music.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about his music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Music, and then also we'll be bringing other people in from the Inland Empire, but I won't be in front of the camera no more.
You're over the camera?
I'm done with the camera.
Gotcha.
Done with the camera. I want to sit on the other side and kind of just look at people and have some fun
Mm-hmm.
and just let them be them. The camera's fun, but I realized that I don't want the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like I'd rather be Jerry Buss than Magic Johnson. I'll say it that way. You get
Okay.
it? You didn't get that, huh?
I'm with you. It made me think of Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan.
Okay, so when I say that, I'll give you an example. So you have the star athlete. Okay, let me say this. Do you know who Dan Gilbert is?
No.
No. You know who LeBron James is?
Correct.
So I used to ask people this a couple years ago. Would you rather be LeBron James or would you rather be Dan Gilbert? And most people, what do you think they say?
They're going for the fame.
I want to be LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be Dan Gilbert. Now, just so you know, Dan Gilbert is the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
So if he owns the Cavaliers and LeBron works for the Cavaliers, because at the end of the day, even though he's an athlete, he works for Dan Gilbert.
Someone's writing his paycheck.
Right. I want to be Dan Gilbert. I don't want to be LeBron James.
Yeah.
So I want to be behind the scenes.
Yes. That reminded me. That's what I was going to say about your son when you're saying, you may not be athletically strong. And I remember, shout out to Coach Greg Adams. He was saying, a lot of Jewish boys, when they go to the bar mitzvah, will be told, hey, you're not going to be an NBA athlete, but you can probably own an NBA team.
Can't beat it.
Right. So maybe the same thing for like your son.
Yeah.
Maybe not be an athlete, but you can probably own a team.
Exactly. And you can own the team a lot longer than you can play.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Got
Behind
you.
the scenes.
So what made you want to be in the front of the camera today? What made you be inspired to be in front of the camera today?
Well, 3 things. Ulysses, you, and I need to talk about Tribe and Grit, and I need to, because if I don't expose what I'm trying to do, how am I going to put it out there?
How you going to reach that 10,000?
Right. And so, I got to get to like you said, got to get to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll do this periodically, but, it's not my thing.
Got you. Not the main squeeze.
Mm-mm.
Got you. So what about me made you want to show up here? What about me made you want to show? What was it about me that made you want to show up here?
You know what? Your energy. You got good energy. You called me. We had great conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Ulysses talked about how he had such a good time with you.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to support you.
Mm-hmm.
I got to support you because if you're supporting me, we're supporting each other right now.
Yes,
this
sir.
is a support group right now.
Yes,
believe it
sir.
or not.
Yes, sir.
When I leave here, guess what I'm going to talk about? You.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to expose the things that you're doing. It's only right. I'm going to tell people about it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully you enjoy me and you tell somebody about me. And that's how we help each other.
Yeah. By you being on, we're telling people about you. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, awesome. Well, good vibes.
Yes.
Vibe attract your tribe.
Yes. And I'm excited to be here on the Empire.
That's right. The one and the only. I wanted to know if I'd like to play a game with us.
Let's play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Long if I ain't got to run because I can't do no jumping and running.
No, we're going to keep those knees intact.
Okay.
If we had a rebounder here, then we'd probably have you do some rebound stuff. But no.
Okay.
Which is like a mini trampoline, folks. But anyway, so what we're going to do is, let me see what we're looking like here. Yes. So it's called Memorable Moments.
Okay.
And I'll give you this drawing, and I want you to tell me what you think's happening in this drawing.
Okay.
Okay?
What do I think is happening?
Yes.
Okay. So I think a family is happy. The reason why I think people, I won't say it's a family because I don't know if they're a family, but I think people are happy because they're smiling. They got their arms up in the air. And maybe they're about to go bowling.
We'll flip it over and see what it says.
The day one twins were born. Okay.
The day when the twins were born.
The day when the twins were born. 4/25, 2025.
And I believe that is by Miss Connie. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So okay, these are the twins. So where are these?
I don't know. I didn't draw it.
Oh, okay. That's why I said maybe they're going bowling. Because I said, are those bowling pins?
I see what you're coming from. Yeah. Maybe it's bags. I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I'll take that from you, though. And I wanted to know if you would do us the honor and drawing us a memorable moment that happened in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let's have some fun.
Awesome. So here, this is right here for you. And I got a pen for you, okay?
You want me to do it right now?
Yes.
Oh, we really?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, as you can see.
Oh, mine. You know what? I got one for you.
You got one?
Yep.
All right.
Hopefully I can get this right.
Thank you for sharing. Not a bad game, right? Not
no, that was fun.
Yes, this is where I wanted to go. So I believe Love Lux is your wife's brand, right?
Yes.
So, and I believe you collaborate with her with doing luxury transportation, correct? So how did the idea come along about adding the luxury transportation to her luxury, I guess you could say like spa day and stuff for like women? How did that concept come about?
I guess because what she does a lot of different things, but she creates experiences for people, mainly women, but people. And so it came about. It was like she sends people to spa. She'll create a whole day for you where you're going to this restaurant or whatever, and normally it's always a couple, but sometimes it could be a woman by herself. So she may create the whole day for you where you go to breakfast somewhere, and then after breakfast, you go get your nails and feet done, and you go to a spa day, and then you go out to, it could be just a dinner. So then we were like, you know what, why don't we add the transportation? Because what if the person doesn't want to drive? That way it just made sense. And so that's how I kind of work with her. When people don't want to drive, naturally, either I'll drive them or I'll get somebody to drive them. But she creates experiences, travel, whatever you want to do. She can plan the whole trip for you, wherever you going. You don't have to do anything, and you can tell her how much you want to spend, the type of experience you want, whether you want to be on the beach front, you want to be away from the beach, you want to be away from people, you don't want to see people, whatever you want to do, she creates the whole experience. So, yeah.
Dope. That's super cool. It makes sense, to make the more convenient you can make it for people, the more incentive it is for them to take that.
Exactly.
Take it. And one thing I've learned is that as men, we forget to like treat ourselves and like have a personal care for each other. Is there a version that, men can have like their spa day? Does she do that type of thing? Or is there another bit? Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. My wife just took me with her to get my feet done.
Got you.
Last week.
Probably felt good, huh?
Oh yeah. I fall asleep. Yes. So yeah, I always tell men, treat yourself. I give you an example. I don't have no hair. So naturally, I just cut it all off. But my wife gave me an idea a couple years ago. She says, I know you cut your own hair, but won't you treat yourself and go to a barber? Yeah, naturally, it's easy not to mess up a bald head unless you miss a spot. But she told me, go to a barber and treat yourself. Lay in the chair and let him do all that. Why are you doing that? Get your feet. A lot of men don't get their feet done. Most men
have
don't
horrendous feet.
Yeah, most men don't get their feet done. And I'll just be honest. I didn't start getting my feet done until I met her. Now, I've had my feet done when I was younger, and that was because I think my aunt took me or somebody. But most men don't get their feet done. Most men don't go get their hands done. Most men don't treat themselves to a spa day. We bred differently.
Yeah, we associate it with like being weak or gay or some type of thing.
No, man.
Yeah.
You deserve it. Why not? And think about this. This is what I tell men. You can be tough and strong all you want, but when you lay down with your mate, you don't think she wants you soft? You don't think she wants you smelling good? She don't want you. You gotta be a certain way too. She wants you groomed also.
Mm-hmm.
You just like I want my wife to look a certain way, be attractive and cute and sexy and all that. Women want the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They want the same thing. So you gotta, that's how she hooks up the men.
Yeah. Or even again, going back to yourself, like just take care of yourself. Like, get yourself a massage. You
Yes,
know what I mean? Like those things are
she do
important.
massages too. I don't. You know what? I don't like massages.
Okay, like other people touching you.
No, I went. You know what? I went with my wife one time and got a massage. I don't know where we went, and it seemed like when I left, I was sore. I was worse.
Deep tissue.
Man, they were walking all on the back and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But she loved it. And some people, I get it. But that day it was horrible. But I have been to some spa days with my wife, and it was a great experience. We've done spa days together where we're in the same room. You get in a robe, and they both come in there. They doing your massages. They're doing your face. I mean, it's an awesome feeling. It feels great.
Yeah. So what we're saying, gentlemen, is treat yourself. Take
Yeah,
care of your
treat
body.
yourself. Don't cheat yourself.
Yeah. And if you want to go to the tough man thing, like we'll use LeBron as an example, right? LeBron spends millions of dollars to take
Right.
care of his body, right? To make sure he's in shape, and to be
Smart man.
prepared. I think also Tom Brady does the same thing. So people, even athletes, are starting to become aware of like, okay, I need to take care of this
Right.
vessel to become the
And
best
and a
tool.
lot of people don't know it starts at your feet.
Mm.
You put more wear and tear on your feet than any part of your body because the first thing you do you get up,
Mhm.
you walking, get your feet done, get a massage, all that starts with your feet on up.
Yeah. I guess nowadays, since people are sitting, their ass is probably the most used thing. Mr. Tyrone, are you a man of faith at all or anything like that? Do you believe in
Yeah,
high?
I believe in a higher power.
Okay.
I really do. I do think I'm watched.
Okay.
I'll share something with you.
Please.
I'll share something with you. So because of where I grew up, I would say when I got out of high school, going into my early 20s, I just didn't think I was going to live long. And I didn't share this with nobody. I haven't shared this with anybody but my wife. So I never thought I would live long because growing up in LA, I've been shot at a couple times. I've been in situations, like I told you, been chased around. I had a guy pull out a machete on me one time, just some crazy situations. So I remember and so like I said, going into my early 20s, I didn't think I would live a long time because I had friends who got killed and stuff, and I would see this stuff. And I remember me and my wife, we went to Vegas one weekend. And so on our way to Vegas, we're driving to Vegas, and I'm in this funk. And I'm talking about I'm not going to live long. And we're driving to Vegas, and I don't think and we're just talking about life and death. But the whole moral of it is I don't think I'm going to live that long. And so we go to a restaurant, and we sit down to eat, and the lady brings us, you know how they say, do you want a glass of water? What do you want to drink? And I say, some water. And we just sat down. And as we're about to start a conversation, I'm not lying to you. You know what the waitress says? She says, by the way, if something is bothering you, you're going to live a long time. Out the blue. And me and my wife looked at each other, was like, and when she said that, it was like, wow. It was such a calm feeling over me. And my perspective kind of just changed. And that kind of helped my faith in a higher power, because why would she say that? And she had no idea how I was feeling. And it just came out the blue so naturally. And so I truly believe that because of my higher power, when it's time for me to go, there's not a problem. It was just time for me to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because now when I go places, like I go back to LA sometimes, and I go in South Central, and I was just in Watts yesterday. And so now when I go to places that some people say is not that safe, because I have such a comfort mentally, and I know my vibe that I bring, that whatever happens, it's okay. And I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's my power watching over me. So my power is going to take care of me.
Cool. I like that. Your story reminds me of, I want to give a shout out to Charles Bibbs. He's a local artist in Riverside, also nationwide. And he was saying, there's like, more or less like there's angels and demons walking among us,
Mhm.
right? I guess like in human form, right? And so it made me think like, that was just like an angel, like that was in the form of a waiter or a
Mhm.
waitress that came up and said, "Oh, let me give them the insight. What's going on?"
I'm it was just I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, surreal.
Yes, but it was just the way I felt on the inside was just like,
A breath of fresh air.
yeah,
Yeah,
because I was really worried about that. Like, I was really, really worried about that.
yeah. It's so interesting because I think I'm not sure if any other culture in America has that, but I know even for myself, it's like normal to think like, oh, like I'm gonna die by 25, especially for black men. I don't think I'm not sure if any other culture has that commonality in the youth, and this is the youth mindset.
Right. Because
You
you
know?
got to remember, depending on where we grow up, most of us, we're in survival mode.
Yeah.
A lot of the other cultures, they're in go mode,
Hmm.
total different modes. Survival mode means I'm always looking over my shoulder. And then I'm also always being watched.
Hmm.
When you're a black man, just to be honest with you, you don't know what people think of you. I had the neighbor on my street where I bought my house.
Hmm.
And his name is Scott, and I like Scott a lot. We're really cool. He told me straight out when I moved on the street, he didn't know what the hell to expect from me because he's used to seeing what he sees on TV.
Yeah.
And I said, I ain't nothing like that. I may have grew up around it, but I'm a man just like you. I
Yeah.
want I want peace just like you. But he told me straight out he didn't know what to expect when I moved on the street.
Yeah. Huh. Not we're not judged by the content of our character,
Hmm.
but by the color of our skin. Unfortunately,
Always.
that's why I want to give a shout out to Danny Tillman. He was saying, he's like people look at me different when I put on a suit as opposed to when I'm out here with my, clothes and a gold chain hanging out.
Hmm.
It's just it's interesting. It's a whole nother lifestyle and perspective that we have to live by. And, I think, in my opinion, this is what makes the Black American community so strong and resilient is by going through these tests
Right.
and having to stand for it
Oh
and
yes, I
still be
totally agree.
positive and still being positive. I remember someone would said that it says a lot about the African American or Afro American spirit by still being so warm and welcoming and
Mm.
going through so much trauma and issues for centuries in this country. Like, it says a lot about their spirit. And I was like, good
Look,
point.
the average black man has a great spirit.
Hmm.
The average black man, if he wanted to, he might be pissed off. He could be pissed off because he go through so much. You can make the case that he can be so pissed off. He has a right to be pissed off and going off on people
Hmm.
because of the things that he's dealt with. I've dealt with a lot of BS, a lot of it, and a lot of it because I am black.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't let that get to me. I'm like, when I step in a room, I've stepped in many rooms and be the only black man,
Hmm.
and it don't even bother me at all. It used to kind of rub me a little bit, you looking around, but now I'm like, I belong here just like you.
Yeah.
And people look at me, but that don't bother me.
Yeah.
If you leave.
That part.
Exactly.
I'm taking the information and bringing it back to the source.
Yeah.
I love that, and the reason why I asked about the higher being belief is because if you had a question, one question that you could ask the supreme creator, God, architect, if you could ask one question and it could be answered, what question would that be?
If I can ask one question, I think my question would be in regards to my kids. I don't know what that question would be, but it would probably be, will my kids be okay? I don't worry about me. It'd probably be more directed toward some type of questions towards my family,
Mhm.
or my question would probably be a want to know question. Will my kids be okay? I don't know, but it will be a question about if I had one question, what do I need to do to make sure my kids will be okay in life? That's good enough for me. Not how they can be rich, not how they can have money, but because my kids are African American kids, what do I need to do to make sure they can live a happy life? That would be good enough for me. Yeah, that would be my question. What can I do to make sure my kids have a happy life? That would be good enough for me.
Mm. Um, wouldn't it be kind of out of your control because it's their happiness?
Yeah, that sucks. It would be out of my control. But I guess I can at least lay the foundation.
Yeah, you can give some
Right.
guidance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can give some guidance, but it's up. Yeah.
It's up to. It's like I remember Cat Williams is saying like self-esteem. It's your self-esteem.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So it's their happiness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my wife are talking about choice. We all have our own choice.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we do in life, we all make the choice. At the end of the day, we chose to do whatever it is we do on a daily basis.
Yes.
So you make a good point when you said that. I can only give so much to them or do
Yeah.
so much. It's all up to them.
Yeah. But I think that's the importance of having fathers in the house is that you can help give them structure and perspective and understanding and plans that can help them navigate the world better. So that way they can pursue their happiness and be able to find happiness in this very confusing world that we
Yes.
live in.
Very confusing.
Yeah, very confusing and demoralizing and
Oh,
hedonistic, people might say.
Yeah. I'm leaving.
Okay.
I plan on leaving the States.
The United States.
Oh, yes.
To a different country.
Oh, yes.
Okay, you know what country you want to go to?
Right now, it's out of 4 countries.
Okay.
It's out of, well, maybe 5.
Okay.
So it's out
Back
of
to the 5.
Philippines,
Okay.
Costa Rica,
Okay.
Mexico, Ghana, and another place in Africa.
Got you.
And I have a friend named Lamont. Shout out to Lamont. I've known him since we were like junior high. We played basketball together. He's my best friend. But he wants to move out the country, and me and my wife, we're all in. And so he's doing all the research. He sends me things to look at. I told him, I trust him so much. I told him, you just find the place we going. And me and my wife, we're going.
Got you.
So I plan on moving out the country probably in about 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
Because my wife has to retire from her job and then live life from there. I mean, I just don't want to be here. And it's not because I hate this place, but my thing is this: why do I want to be here? I grew up here. And I always tell my kids, if you get chances to go see other parts of the world, go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you stay here?
Yep.
I have like my daughter in Texas. I tell her, don't come back here. After you get the degree, go somewhere else and live or go do something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many places in this world that this is a beautiful world.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thing is, I don't want to die in the United States, somewhere I've always been. I'd rather die somewhere else where, I think you go through phases in life.
I see you.
You go through phases. Why do I want to die in Corona? And don't get me wrong, I love Corona. If I didn't like Corona, I wouldn't be there.
Period.
But I don't want to die there. I got to go die somewhere else. I got to have these experiences in life. I'm trying to have some experiences. That's one of the reasons why I quit my job. I didn't quit my job to solely just stay here. No, there's still plans down the road for Mr. Holliness here. I still got plans.
Got you.
So yeah.
So no Sweden or Netherlands on the list?
No, it has to be. We had to come up with 5 places because we can come up with 20 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I told him, man, narrow it down to 5. Just narrow it to 5, and then we'll do as many investigating as we can. And then out of those 5, we're going to narrow it down to 3. And those 3, we're going to go to them, and we're going to go to them those countries at least 2 to 3 times. That's the plan. To make sure that's where we want to stay and visit and get to know the culture. But part of the plan is also, making sure we start in a couple of years dual citizenship, making sure we get a World Bank account. There's a process. You don't just say, I'm moving out the country, making sure maybe we can visit a couple, because just say we pick
Ghana.
Okay, say we pick Ghana. So we know we're moving to Ghana. I want to go see it a couple more times. We know we're going for sure, but let's go visit a couple more times. Let's go see some more places. So when we get out there, we have a better idea. Okay, where do we want to live now that we out here? Where exactly do we want to live? It's a whole process to moving out the country.
Yeah.
So that's what. And Lamont is my numbers guy. He's good with numbers.
Ooh,
Yeah, he works at a bank.
perfect.
Yeah.
And this
So,
is perfect for. They always say either have friends or hire people that accentuate your weakness. So if you're bad
right.
at math,
Look, I always say your friends should always all your friends should be smarter than you.
okay,
If you're the smartest amongst your friends, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're the smartest, what does that mean?
I mean, it's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's awesome, but
Yeah.
what's the downside? If you're the smartest of your friends,
You're never gonna learn anything new.
never.
Yeah.
So I have no problem saying Lamont's smarter than me when it comes to that numbers and all that.
Mhm.
Smart dude. I ain't the smartest among my friends, but I still bring something to the table.
Yeah. That's the aspect of the thing is that like you can't be I don't think it's possible to ever be the smartest person in the room because someone else is always going to know something about something else.
Yes.
You just have to know how to get into that other else
Mm-hmm.
thing. And when you mentioned about the travel, like I have a chapter in my book that talks about travel and the importance of it is that, you know, it helps give you a different perspective on how people live, how
Mm-hmm.
cultures think. And a sad thing for, and I guess for a lot of Black Americans, and I guess is that some of them we're in California, Southern California, and never been to the beach. They literally live in Southern California and
Yes.
never been to the beach.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people who live in California and they've never been out of California. They've only been to Vegas.
Hmm.
I say, you never been out of California? No. I've been to Vegas. Get out and go places. It's so many places out here, man. There's so many things to do. And I understand it costs to go
Hmm.
places, but plan.
Yeah.
Plan.
Hmm.
If you really want to go, plan. Commit to it. Make payments on it. There's ways to get where you want to go if you're committed.
Yeah.
If you're sincerely committed, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Reach out to Lovelux and they'll get it out. They'll figure it out for you.
Exactly.
They'll figure it out for you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to business because basically, you know, you handle a lot of businesses, you know, even the nonprofit. Do you think it takes a certain mindset and personality to be an entrepreneur?
No, but it takes a certain mindset and all personality to be somewhat successful.
Okay.
I
There's a
mean,
difference?
yeah, because anybody can just open a business,
Okay.
anybody, and I mean that somewhat literally.
Hmm.
Anybody can just go to the city, get a business license, and just say, I do this. But it's more to just having the paperwork to say I run a business. People have to somewhat like you. People have to believe you know what you're doing. I had the guy that I told you I went and did a guy's home, the addition.
Hmm.
He said he went with me for 3 reasons. He said, first, I answered the phone right away. And then one was he asked me how long was I in the business, but also he asked me a question and I was able to answer the question. He
Hmm.
said something about, he says, well, how will you do this to hook up to the electrical line? And when he was saying it, I was like, that's wrong the way you're saying it. It's called direct connection. I said, you would have to do a direct connection to make sure you have a good signal. And he straight out said, that's what I wanted to hear. So, it's a lot of things to having a business, but I think being overall well-rounded, but also being a personality. I think people have to like you, especially out here in California. It's a lot of competition in California.
Hmm.
I don't care what you do in California, from transportation to utility locating to even having a successful
Yeah.
podcast.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it's a lot of competition out here. So, how do we weed out the competition? You have to be different. You have to be good. People have to like you, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And that would be relating to being successful.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I don't think how many people are successful. Or I guess you could be successful in certain businesses and people don't like you, but you probably step on a lot of toes.
Hmm.
I don't want to do that. That's not my personality. Not my personality. I like to go to sleep peaceful at night.
Mm-hmm.
I like laying in bed knowing that I don't owe anybody anything, and I know I gave my all to somebody. So when I go to sleep, when I'm laying at home, there's peace for me, and I know I've given my customer or my client what they need or what they deserve, and they're
Yeah.
happy. That's part of peace.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that because there was a guest that I had on, and she was very uncomfortable with something that went viral, and it I can tell that it brought her on at it took her peace away, and she basically admitted it. And I was like, no worries, I'll I'll delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the numbers don't matter. It's okay. What matters is that as long as you're at peace and you're
Mm-hmm.
okay, and that brought me peace by being able to bring her peace.
Exactly.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, because I think that's another thing, is that especially in the entertainment world, is that people are trying to get the numbers.
Right.
How many eyes can I get? How many followers can I get? It doesn't matter how degrading or whatever it is. And on the Empire, we're about integrity and upliftment, and we're not clickbaity. If something that someone says becomes entertaining for someone else, sure, whatever. But our intentions is not to try to be salacious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like many entertainments do, because they really just care about the views.
Right.
They
Right.
don't care about the individual
Mm-hmm.
and the spirit of the individual or the integrity.
You can create a little controversy or get somebody to say something crazy
Mm-hmm.
or, off the wall.
Yeah.
It's a make a wrong comment. That's what
Yeah.
BS sells.
Yeah. But I believe, and we believe here in integrity over anything, and higher frequency of thinking and stuff like that. Because in the end of the day, I believe the cream rises to the top, as they say.
I really do too.
Right? And maybe they might not catch on now, but they'll eventually. Good. I heard Michael Jackson say this in an interview the other day. Great art will always exist. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So those salacious things might not last the test of time. They might last for 30 seconds or 30 days, but stuff like that happens on the Empire. This is long lasting because it's
Right.
quality. It's quality.
Gotta have integrity.
And I rather have the integrity and give good, entertaining righteousness, as opposed to like, okay, so what type of gangbanging stuff were you involved in, Tyrone? What's going on? Tell us about the gang. What's the gang numbers? What's the Nah. If he wants to share that and we go down that road, then we go. But to pull it out just to try to get views, fuck that.
Yeah, that's
Fuck
not worth
that.
it.
That's not what we roll on. It's not what we roll on. We ain't got that type of time. If he wants to go down that road, and we can go down that road, but I'm not going to pull it out just to try to get more views, more likes. Nah. There's bigger things that matter in life. But I'm going to go on. I'm going to continue on, unless you want to say something.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Obviously you're married. You talked about your wife several times.
Mm.
This is a two-part question. Why do you think most marriages fail and most businesses fail? And is there a connection or a similarities between why they both fail?
I don't think there's a connection.
Okay.
So the marriage part is, I think most marriages fail because people just don't want to be married. That's just plain and simple.
Okay. They don't want to put the work in.
Exactly. They
Okay.
don't want to put work in. That's just my opinion. It has nothing to do with all the other stuff. I just think most people just don't want to be married. Because when you want to do something, you do it. Unless the other person just absolutely don't want to be married. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think most people just don't want to be married.
Mm.
It's just simple. None of this, nothing else. They just don't want to be married. Because why would two people who are, just say you got two people and they're divorced now, why are you not married no more? Because a lot of relationships don't actually end because of affairs or financial reasons. Because, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen. We know affairs happen and stuff. But if you want to get through that, if you're sincerely committed, guess what? It'll work. You don't think me and my wife been through hard times? Hell Yeah, it ain't been peaches over here, not
Mm-hmm.
over here. But we want to be married. So when you want to be married, you don't mind putting in the work. I don't mind telling somebody, me and my wife have done counseling before. I don't know it all. And so I don't mind talking to somebody else, getting their perspective, especially somebody I don't know, because at the end of the day, they don't have to lie to me. They can tell me the truth. I don't mind looking at a person and say, no, Tyrone, you doing that wrong. Or that, Tyrone, that was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be open to that dialect. You got to be willing to hear that. When you screw up, somebody can tell you, I was wrong for that. So I think that's the thing with marriages. People really just don't want to be married. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to be married, you would have done what you needed to do to keep your marriage.
Yeah, stick it out, make it work.
Yep. As far as businesses, why do I think businesses don't work?
Yeah.
I think people give up. I think people are not committed. Um, I know when I started my businesses, from doing research and talking to a few people, most, I would say over, I would say over 50 to 60% of the people I talk to in the research that I've done, can you get past 2 years? Once you leave your job, can you make it past 2 years? Or will you have to go back to the job or go
Mm-hmm.
back to working? And that's the hard part, because I went through a lot of months, no money, but have the right mate. A lot of months, no money, and still some months. When you have a business, you have good months and bad months. And then, some people just give up. Now, I've had some bad months. My wife has told me sometimes, she'll look at me and say, you want to give up? And I say, I can't do that. No, I'm not doing that. And I equate it to like a McDonald's. McDonald's open at 5, 6 in the morning. If McDonald's don't have no customers the first 4 or 5 hours, they ain't closing. They open and they not closing until whatever it is, midnight or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Right. They're not closing, and they're going to stay open every day. And so that's what you got to do as business. Whatever it is you do, commit to your business. You're going to have some broke days. You're going to have some days where you're not making any money, but stay open, stay committed, keep doing it. If you got to figure out another way to make a little bit money on the side, do that. Uber, Lyft, figure it out. There's ways to keep you afloat until your business gets going, but don't give up. You can't give up. And if you and even if the business got not growing right, maybe get some help. Maybe talk to somebody, because some people start businesses on their own and it doesn't go how they want. Maybe you should get a business advisor. Talk to somebody. My wife meets with a young lady. Even though she has her love looks, she meets with somebody once a month to give her ideas and make sure she's going in the right direction with her business.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know it all. You need more ideas. You can have all the ideas in the world, but you're only one person. But yeah, I would say that's the difference. If you want to stay married, commit to it, it'll last. But as far as business, if there's no commitment, you don't take it seriously, and you're not going to be purposeful with it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Don't give up. You got to really and your business has to be you. Your business has to be you. Like, we'll use Ulysses for an example. When you talk to him, he's ready to talk business. He's ready, the way he greets people. You know how he greets people. He always says, I'm full of unshakable confidence. How are you? When you get a greeting like that, how can you not want to work with somebody? You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be, it's all a mind game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's all mind. It's all mental. It's all mental.
That's what everything is. You are what you think.
Yep. And they say most businesses failed in the first place.
Yeah.
You look at most billionaires and millionaires, a lot of them said they had a lot of businesses that failed. You ask every millionaire, they all say that. Rarely do you have somebody say, I started this one business, it just took off. Most of them say, I had this business, it failed. I tried that, it failed. But they just a millionaire off maybe that one. But they got other things that did not work.
Yeah. All you need is one.
All you need is just like a song.
Yeah. One hit.
I mean, I'd love to have more than one hit.
Yeah.
But technically, one hit can get you paid the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the truth.
Very true. Very true. A couple things that make me think of, I have, going back to my book, I have a chapter called Failure Has to Happen. You have to, in order to succeed, you have to fail, and don't be afraid to fail, because that's how it gets you to the success. Some people call it's not losses, it's lessons. People kind of use that term now.
What's the name of your book? I want to read it.
I got two of them. One of them, the first one's called 10 Things That Your Parents Should Have Taught You But Didn't. And then the other one is called 10 More Things That Your Parents Should Have Taught You But Didn't.
Okay.
The third one's coming out soon, folks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And lost my train of thought. There we go. Yes. I think the connection between what was it? The why most marriages fail and why most businesses fail is the lack of commitment.
Yep.
I think that's the connection between what the two
Basically
share.
what we were talking about. Yeah.
The commitment. Like, because I think you said it, and I was like, oh, that's it. The commitment is what misses for both of them.
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
You get tired. People get tired of each other. No commitment.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I was thinking about this the other day, because there's stats that are showing that less people are getting married and staying married now in the United States, or women are waiting till their later years to get married. And it made me realize, I was like, there's not going to be grandparents anymore. There's not going to be like, oh, we've been married for 50, 60 years. That's not going to exist. That's going to be non-existent in America anymore.
That's a shame.
That's crazy.
That's real crazy. I was talking to my youngest daughter, and even though me and my wife have been fortunate to be married and still married this long, me and my youngest daughter was having a conversation about her friends' parents.
Mm-hmm.
And she has, a couple friends. I'll just say 5 or 6 good friends. Mm. And she says out of her group of friends, only one of the girls' parents are still together. Of course, with my daughter's parents. Mm-hmm. But she says most of her friends' parents, either they're single moms or fathers, or just divorced.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
That's common. That's like it's become like a norm in America. Right, where divorce is the norm, and staying married and raising a family is the abnormal.
Right.
Which is ass backwards, if you ask me.
Yeah, that don't even make sense.
Yeah, it's ass backwards. Because I do believe in this structure, and I remember hearing it, which is, in order to build a great nation, first you have to have a strong family, which I believe requires a 2-parent household, mother and father for discipline, mother for nurturing. And you raise a strong household, builds a strong community. Strong communities bring stronger cities. Stronger cities make stronger nations.
Right.
And so everything sources from strong families.
Yep.
In order to bring a strong nation.
I can see the link.
Yeah.
I can see a direct link to everything you just said.
Yeah. So, shout out to America, let's bring great families back, and let's commit to each other.
We need families. We need people to commit to each other. And if you don't want to commit to somebody, just don't commit.
Yeah. Or make better decisions on the person that you want to be with, or have kids with, or be intimate with.
I always tell my daughters, whatever you do, don't try not to have a baby. Try not to have a baby unless you know, and it's not a guarantee. Mm-hmm. But try to know there's a strong possibility, real strong, that this is going to work out. Not, I hope this works out. Because if you with somebody that you hoping, why are you hoping? You don't even believe in it yet. Mm-hmm. You don't even believe in it. But I tell my daughters all the time, just don't be having no kids just to be having kids.
Please.
No, because I think that's part of the problems we have in San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and especially LA County. Kids, single families, people homeless, all this stuff plays a direct link some way. Yeah. All of it.
Yep.
All of it. You got the single mom, and she at work all day, and the son don't have nobody to watch him, then he can do what he want to do. Mm-hmm. And not saying he won't be a good kid, but we all done some mischievous things. We all do some things we shouldn't do.
Yeah, it's natural.
So when your son go out there, you gone, You letting other people raise him.
The streets, probably.
Right. And so if you had both the parents there, not saying he wouldn't do it, but the
Likelihood.
statistics show that the likelihood of him doing it decreases.
100%. And I think it starts with the parent. Like a lot of the times the parent needs to be educated on, you know, who they should be, like, again, who they should be intimate and how to choose a better partner, as opposed to just, you know, physical attraction. Like, let's think long term. Like, does this person have the right mindset, or you just want to have a one night thing with them? And if you do, please wear protection. Please wear double protection. You know, but let's move forward.
No, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything else about that?
No.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. I tell my daughters all the time, y'all grown, but make sure you're using protection.
Please.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, if you don't know if this man's the right one, come through father for the filter to see if he's a good man or not.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's really important too. I think that's another thing that lacks in society is like women taking and vice versa, taking them through the elders to be filtered to say, is this person have the right mindset? They got the right head on their shoulders to be with my baby, to raise my grandkids or whatever. Like, you know, like we need that order.
Yes, we do.
We need that order.
We do.
You know. Tyrone, I want to thank you so much for being on the Empire. You want to play another game with us?
Hey, sure.
Yeah.
No, like I told you, as long as I don't have to run or jump, we can play some games.
Yeah, we're not gonna put those knees to work, you know.
Okay,
no,
yeah,
unless
we
we're
can't
like
do
in a
that.
spa or something like that in the water. Maybe that'll be for the future of the show. We'll have like a jacuzzi. Actually, spoiler alert. The game's called Quick Slip.
Quick slip.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so the way it works is I'm going to give you a word, and whatever comes to your mind, I want you to spit out what that word means to you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, I got it.
So I'm going to give you a word, and then whatever comes to mind, hit me back with a word.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yep.
All right, Quick Slip. Here we go.
I'm going to close my eyes too.
Okay, for sure. That seems to help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Empowerment.
Tribe and Grit.
Left Eye Lopez.
Andre Riser.
Alabama.
Crimson Tide.
Twinkies.
Cupcakes.
Turnips.
Don't really care for them.
Outcast.
Atlanta.
Outlast.
Me.
Offsite.
Offsite. What comes the word with offsite? That's crazy. I'm thinking of my job, utilities.
There it is. Outcome.
Outcome. I think of outcome. I'm going to say prediction.
Travel.
Oh, peace.
Monopoly.
A game.
Peyton.
I'm thinking of the quarterback, Peyton Manning.
Dolly Parton.
I hate to say this, but I'm thinking of her breasts. Because she was known for large breasts.
A apples.
No disrespect, Dolly.
No, it's a compliment.
Okay.
Apples.
Fuji, because I like Fuji apples.
Elephants.
The trunk. The long trunk. Something about that trunk.
Elegant.
Women.
Orange.
Fruit.
Manifest.
Life.
Spouse.
Good thing.
Get it.
Let's get gritty.
Family.
Everything.
Today.
Not promise.
Broad.
Life.
Narrow.
Narrow. I'm going to say one's mind.
Wakanda.
I think what's the movie? Wakanda. I forget that movie. But everybody know the movie I'm talking about.
Black Panther.
Yeah, that one.
Now.
The Empire.
And that is Quick Slip, folks.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Thank you for playing. Not too
that
bad,
was
huh?
fun.
Yeah, not too bad, right?
No, not bad at all.
Yeah. You know, we learned a lot about you today, Mr. Tyrone. What's one thing, anything that most people don't know about you, even close friends, what's one thing?
There's so many things I could share. Um, I won't go into detail, but I'll just say I've changed. I want to tell people I've changed. Things are different. I have a different outlook on a lot of things. So I'll just say my perspective on a lot of things have changed. I can go into detail.
It would help.
I'll give you some detail.
Yeah,
I'll give you some detail.
just for clarification.
So, like, as much as I love sports, and I love sports, I think sports are great. I really do think sports are great. But I'm kind of done with sports. I think sports are it's a,
Modern day slave trade?
yes. I was trying to figure out the right way to say it, but it's just a way to okay, let's go back. Let's go back. And I know we ain't got a
Okay.
lot of time, but when you go back in time,
You-
you had these men, and we saw this on TV as little boys. At least I did.
Mhm.
So you see the king or the emperor, and they have all these people in it's not a stadium, but
Coliseum.
yes. And then you have the king and all his people, and they put whoever else in this ring to do whatever else to each other.
The gladiators.
Yes. And when you think about sports, that's really where it came from. I mean, think about that. That was a sport to them.
Oh, 100%.
That was a sport. And
Death sport.
Right. And they beating the crap out of each other. And so when you fast forward to sports now, one of the reasons why I'm done with sports is, well, it's a lot of reasons, but now since we're talking, let's start with Deion Sanders' son.
The issue that's happening right now.
Yeah, let's start with him. Projected to be one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in college. So projected to one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Won all these awards. So when you think about this young man and all that he's accomplished, me knowing sports, and I know sports, and I'm not saying I'm a guru, but I'm not dumb either. Me knowing sports, that young man should have got drafted at least by the 2nd round,
Yeah.
no later than the 3rd.
Can you enlighten people on what's going on for people who may not know what's going on?
So Deion Sanders' son is a college quarterback
Mhm.
for the Colorado Buffaloes. This young man had an amazing season. He's had 2 amazing seasons. If I'm not mistaken, he transferred from Jackson State
Mhm.
to go with his father to Colorado.
Mhm.
Had another amazing season. And don't get me wrong, this young man is very, very confident. But I don't have a problem with somebody being confident. I'd rather you be confident than not confident at all. And so I think because of his confidence in who his father is, people hate on him.
Yeah.
His father is a very confident man.
Yeah. Charismatic.
Yes.
And just to help catch you guys, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on is that the NFL draft is happening right now. And basically, I think his name's Shawers Sanders. I can't say
Yes.
his name properly. Has basically kind of been blackballed in the NFL draft, even though he shouldn't have been. Am I
Correct.
okay?
Correct.
Please.
And so when you see that, when you see somebody deserve something and they don't get it, I got a problem with that. I really do. And even though I can't change that situation, I still have a voice. I'm still a viewer. So that's one of the reasons why I'm done with sports. And I know why that's being done because of his father. It's just, and I know who his father is, but you know what? I'll just say this. When you've done what his father has done, why shouldn't he be cocky? Why shouldn't he be arrogant? When Deion Sanders stepped on the field, he backed up everything that he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that. But why? But my major problem is, why is that young man paying for this?
Paying for what his father did.
Yes.
It's like they're attacking the son for the father's.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched this show, and it gave me more perspective. I think a lot of those general managers and coaches, they don't want to deal with the young man because they know that young man is also going to listen to his father. And so when you got your father who's been at a certain level, who's done this, because you look at a Deion Sanders, the average coach in the NFL right now, most of those coaches probably didn't coach when Deion Sanders played. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those coaches in the NFL are probably about Deion Sanders' age, I would guess. So Deion Sanders probably, to him, and rightfully so, probably feels he knows just as much about football as the coach,
Or even more.
or even more because he played it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a son who's going to listen to his father, because he should, that young man would not be where he is today without his father. That's enough said. He wouldn't be there without his father. If I'm a coach, I need the father still here. You're where you are because of your father. Why not draft him?
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing the young man in. Deion, shut up a little bit, but he's here because of his father.
Yep.
That's enough said for me. I want him. But, because of who he is, and I do think race does play a factor in that. It does. We all know majority of NFL owners are white men with privileges, who've had privileges. You look at, and I'll say this, you look at what happened with Robert Kraft a couple years ago. That situation, he's the owner of the New England Patriots.
Enlighten people who may not know.
He was caught in a solicitation for prostitution. He said he didn't do it.
He was buying prostitutes?
Something of that nature.
Okay.
Allegedly. Let's use the right words. Allegedly.
Okay.
He was allegedly doing something. So, and what he did, we know he did it. But when you have pockets and because you can make certain things go away, money is power, man. Money is power. And when you're those type of people with that type of power, sometimes you can make certain things go away. But for me, the reason why I've walked away from sports is because I'm just done with that. I'd rather watch a high school game. I'd rather watch a college game. But the professional game, the professional NFL, NBA, I can honestly say, if you see me watching an NBA, NFL game, it's because I went to your house and you have it on. Or because me and you go hang out and they have it on. But I won't call you, Antonio, and say, hey, let's go watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going to even invite you over my house and say, let's watch this game. I'm going to invite you over my house and say, let's eat something. Now, if you ask me to put the game on, I'll do it for you. But as far as me all into the sports thing, the bull crap that goes on with the sports, I'm done with it. And take it a step further, not just that, but you look at the LeBron James thing. I'm not hating on LeBron James. He should have did that for his son. He should have. I'll say that. But as a fan of the Lakers, is that fair to me? If I'm a fan, I don't want LeBron James' son. I want the best prospect available because I want to see the Lakers do well.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'll take it a step further. If I'm on that team with the Lakers, can I respect anybody's opinion in management? Think about that if I'm a player. I can't respect anybody's opinion in management when I got a guy that I play with and he's calling shots too. Because I can feel like, you know what if I get traded? How do I know he didn't have nothing to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? So when I look at all of that, it's like, I'm just done with it. I'm done with it. Let me watch the high school kids. Let me watch the college kids, junior college kids, the kids that really have a passion who want to play because they just playing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's some motive behind everything.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with sports.
Actually, so basically the politics of sports have gotten out of control.
Out of control, and it's just too much for me.
Gotcha.
And it's not real. You can't say we have the best Lakers roster when we didn't even try to draft the best player.
Uh-oh.
I mean, think about that.
Uh-oh.
And I'll take it a step further. Think about what you do. and just say, I'm drafting some people to work with you. How would you like it if I draft who I want to work with you instead of getting you the best person available to work with you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the best person available, or do you want somebody just because I think
I'm
he
trying
gonna
to give
be?
him a job.
What do you want?
We always want to go with the best,
So that's why I'm done.
right? I got you. And that's one thing people didn't know. Now they
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of things about the politics and sports getting out of control.
It's too much.
Super interesting. And I'll say one thing, and I'll move on from the Sanders thing. I remember someone was saying that they want these athletes to come in humble from a single parent household looking for a handout, and Deion Sanders' son is the antithesis to all three of those things.
Yes.
And so they don't like that, and so they're trying to make an example out of him by
Yes.
him being this way. But another thing I heard is that they said that Deion probably expected them to do this, so he probably has a plan on how to act on this, but only time will tell. But
let me
go ahead.
let me say one more thing.
Let's go.
Another thing I heard. I was listening to some executives. So I was watching something on ESPN a couple months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they were interviewing some executives for the NFL. And they said that there were executives who would purposely want to draft players who grew up in a single parent household because they felt like if he grew up in a single parent household, he would be more hungry. He would be more motivated because he had problems in his life. And so I just listen to all these things. I'm like, wow, you looking for somebody because he had a hard time? Because you feel like he gonna be hungry?
Yeah.
So when you hear all these things, it's like, wow, there's so much politics in it. It's like, wow.
Almost sounds like it's planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost sounds like it's a plan. It's a formula that they stick to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who can we control?
Yep.
Interesting. So Mr. Tyrone Holliness, what current projects are you working on? Whether that's family, business, personal, whatever you want to share. What current projects are you working on?
Currently, so I am in the process of bidding on some projects with certain cities with Ground Vision. Ground Vision is D.B.E certified, and I want to educate some of your viewers.
Let's educate us.
I think this will be a big helpful. Yeah. So D.B.E stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. So we're DBE certified. And when you're DBE certified, you can look at government contracts all across the United States, particularly in California.
Mm-hmm.
And DBE certified, like I said, it stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And from what I know, it was put in office by Bill Clinton when he was in office. I think. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's for people who are minorities, particularly minorities and women.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a DBE certified business unless you are a minority.
Okay.
And it gives you an opportunity to bid on large contracts. So I'm able to see large contracts. So like, what street are we on? Highland?
Mm-hmm.
Just say the city of Highland was redoing the street and they got to repave the whole street from a mile. Ground Vision can see that RFP. We can see that and we can bid on that project.
What's RFP?
I forget what it stands for.
Okay. What does it mean?
It means a RFP is basically like something they put together. A RFP basically gives all the information of what you need to get that contract.
Okay.
So the RFP, it talks about what exactly they're going to, so just say we were talking about that street.
Mm-hmm.
So say they're going to change out all the sewer lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it tells you they're going to change out 1,000 feet of sewer from this location to that. Also, once the sewer comes out, it tells you when they put the street back together, whether they want asphalt, whether they want concrete, how do they want the asphalt, how they want the concrete. It also tells you the plans. It tells you everything, all the contacts for this project. It's a lot.
Gotcha. It's like a detailed information to know what to go.
Detailed. That shouldn't be me because I cut mine off.
It's...
Anyway, sorry about that. But so that's one of the things that Ground Vision is
You
working
can
on.
pause. You can pause.
Uh,
Finish.
oh, that was Ulysses.
Where you at?
But so one of the projects is we're going to be bidding on a project. One is in San Diego. There's also a project in Orange County, and there's a project in Northern California. I can't remember exactly where in Northern California, but Ground Vision is going to bid on these projects. These are large projects that Ground Vision is going to bid on. And if Ground Vision gets these projects, I'm going to employ some people to do them because they are large projects. So I can't do them by myself. But the great thing is I contract most of the work out and give some people some money and pay them. So that's what Ground Vision has coming up. That's what I have coming up.
Did we educate people completely on what you wanted to say about the DBE?
Oh, so if you wanted to become a disadvantaged business enterprise, look up DBE. I'm telling you now, it's going to cost. It will cost. It can to get DBE certified. It can cost anywhere, just say from $2,500 to $6,000 or $7,000 because somebody has to do all the paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork. Me and my wife were able to find somebody. You can do it yourself, but the problem is it's so much paperwork. It's one of those, if something's not right, it could set you back 6 months to a year. And so my wife went online. We were able to find somebody who did all the paperwork. This person was located in Florida, but they took care of everything. And when I say they check everything from bank accounts to background checks. You list everything you do. Jobs you've had in the past year. They want to know how much money you have in the bank. They want to know everything about you before they make you DBE certified. But once you become DBE certified, it can last you the rest of your life. And any business can become DBE certified because they look for all kind of things. You can become DBE certified for what you do because they look for people in different forms of entertainment and stuff.
Okay.
It's a lot, but it's worth it.
Got you. So this project is open to people who are DBE certified.
Yes, because I'm DBE certified, I can see it and I'm able to bid what ground. So the way it will work is if they're doing that street, I would just be bidding the utility portion of the project. So basically, if they're redoing, like I said, the sewer, remember I gave the example of the sewer line, they
Yes.
got to dig up the whole street. Well, before they dig up that street, they
They have
need
to
to
know
know where
where
the
it is.
gas line. And so Ground Vision is able to say, hey, we'll bid on doing all the utilities and cover all the utilities for you guys before you start your work. So that's what we are coming up next.
Gotcha. And may you get all three of those projects.
Hey, that's the goal.
May you get all three of them. And it
goal.
feels like, yes, you will get all three. You'll be overwhelmed with the work that you will have to hire more.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, the abundance.
And I believe you too.
Yeah, it feels right.
I believe you. My wife always, she say, what are you going to do? If you get all these projects, she says, are you ready? I said, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. If I get all these projects, I got connections at UtiliQuest. I know guys who want to make some money. And I know people I can employ because I want to give money to people I know who need it.
Yeah. And people who know how to work.
You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah. Because knock and it shall be open. Ask and it shall be received. And 10,000 people coming soon.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, reflection just means a new direction.
Yes. Amen. Tyrone, thank you again for being on the Empire. Let's say 100 years pass by, 250 years pass by. What would you like your empire to look like 250 years from now?
I would like my empire 200 years from now. I can see my name still around. One of the reasons why I can see my name around because my name is unique, Holliness. So I can see that name around. I can as far as Ground Vision in those businesses, I don't know, but I can truly see Tribe and Grit around because of what Tribe and Grit offers people. I can see Tribe and Grit being prosperous in people's lives. I can see Tribe and Grit being called by people who need help for the normal things in life. That's what I see 200 years from now. I can see Tribe and Grit. I do.
Nice. And that's
Yeah.
your empire.
Yeah, that's my empire. My empire is Tribe and Grit.
I
And let
love
me
it.
show you this. HF6. This is my family logo. Holliness family, and there's 6 of us.
And
That's
the
the family
love.
logo.
And then the love with the heart, right?
Yes, and the love with the heart.
Nice. I was gonna ask you what that meant, but I was
My wife created it. But yeah, this is it's not a logo. A logo is called a family.
emblem.
Yeah, family something. They have another word for it. I forget. My wife tells me and I forget it. I just say logo because it's easier to remember.
Not brand.
Not brand. You know what I'm talking
Emblem. Family emblem?
Not it's another word. What is she called? It's called a family.
Not heirloom.
I forget what it's called.
Crest.
Yes. Family crest.
Family crest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she designed this and she's like, this is the family crest.
Sweet.
So we have some shirts with this. We just say HF6. Like how this says Tribe and Grit. I have some shirts that just says HF6 and stuff like that. And so sometimes when we go out together as a family, every now and then we'll just put on the shirts and stuff like that.
That's dope. That's your empire.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you so much for sharing. Tyrone Holliness.
Yes.
I really believe your last name, I really believe, because back to etymology and the study of words, I really believe its original name was Holiness. Because I won't go into it, because it's basically kind of spelled the same.
Yes.
I think the origin of the name is probably Holiness, but that's just my opinion. We don't know any facts. But thank you so much for being on the Empire. Can you please let everybody know how they could find you, support you, hire you, all those great things?
Well, first, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Great time. You're an awesome person, and have me back anytime. You can find me. So Tribe and Grit. I have a website for Tribe and Grit. It's just how it sounds. Tribe, and it's the letter N, not and. So Tribe in Grit at gmail.com if you want to email me. I also have my website for Ground Vision. It is groundvisioninc.com, www.groundvisioninc. That's just how it sounds. But more importantly, just reach out to me for Ground Vision, for Love Lux, for Tribe and Grit, for what am I missing? Tribe and Grit, Love Lux, Ground Vision, all of them. My number is 951-399-5425. Call me if you got any questions. You want to go on a ride. I do coastal rides. I do all kind of stuff, man. Or if you just want to have a conversation about life, that's what I'm about.
Sweet. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll have the links and the stuff in the description, so you guys can just click on it that way and connect with him. And it's not grits. He's not selling food. It's not Tribe and Grits. It's not food. It's grit, the attitude. Again, I want to thank all you guys. I want to thank Mr. Holliness for being on. If you, please like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Comment down below. Share it. If you want to support the work that we're doing, because we really enjoy this work and we really appreciate all the support, you can do our Cash App, which is $THEE Empire Podcast. We also have PayPal, Venmo, many other things. We have books, we have merch. All those things goes back into getting this work continue going and continue flowing. But all in all, we appreciate all you guys, and we thank you all you guys. And other than that, is there anything else, Tyrone, you want to say before we get out of here?
Let's get gritty.
Let's get gritty. I think Redman used to have a song called "Let's Get Dirty." Let's get dirty. Reminds me of that. Let's get gritty.
Yeah.
Other than that, folks, we'll catch you next episode. Peace.
Peace.